Welcome to the Cryptonomatron, and today I'm doing a review on Block Array ICO. Due to popular demand, I was asked to do this by a few people, so here it is. What Block Array is essentially is a blockchain and a system for truckers and the movement of goods.
By December 2019, every truck driver in the United States is required to have an electronic logging device to track how long they are driving, called hours of service, and must certify their records daily. These devices can cost thousands of dollars to buy and hundreds of dollars a month to maintain. Blockarray enables truck drivers through its mobile app to anchor triggering events to the blockchain through its network, from certifying daily logs to picking up cargo for free. For example, let's say a truck driver was scheduled to pick up cargo at 1 p.m., but the cargo was not loaded until 4 p.m. Using its mobile app, the truck driver can scan the bill of lading barcode and create a record on the blockchain that is triggered when they depart. This helps in disputes that are called detention payouts. When truck drivers are waiting for cargo to be loaded and that cargo is running late, they are entitled to compensation. These payouts can be difficult to prove, but with the trustless record-keeping of blockchain, truck drivers can prove their claims in a fast and easy way.
So as you can imagine, there is quite a lot of competition in this space as everybody's trying to bring the blockchain to the logistics industry. The reason for that is it's quite a simple concept to imagine the blockchain improving the way the logistics industry does business. And certainly there must be many ways it does improve and makes it more efficient for goods to travel from one area to another. So needless to say, many companies are trying to take advantage of that, not least of all ShipChain, which I reviewed a few weeks ago. In fact, it was one of my very first ICO reviews. They're going to be in competition with Block Array. They want to apply the blockchain to logistics industry and the shipping industry very much in the same way that Block Array wants to do. However, I couldn't find any information on the technology. And this is in stark contrast with Block Array, as they are all about the technology with very little hype or fluff at all, whereas ShipChain seems to be all hype and no technology. And when I did the review of ShipChain all those many weeks ago, one of the people that was supporting ShipChain messaged me on Discord, I think it was, and said that the prototype was in production and they were going to launch sometime 2018, and that's all fine and well, but the prototype isn't available for me to check out at the moment, nor is it for anybody else. So if you go to the technology page on ShipChain, it's very sparse indeed. No information in the white paper, no information on the website, so really doesn't enthuse me that they're going to be able to deliver, whereas Block Array are already delivering. They've got a demo of the app, the beta version is already released, and you can see just with the technical literature in the white paper, which a lot of it was way over my head, I must admit, it's very advanced, and they're ready to give this to other companies that want to use it. I found another one as well called Slogan Coin, Smart Logistics Network, a blockchain coin, AI blockchain coin for decentralized logistics. I found yet another one that doesn't seem to have much hype behind it. New Lot Logistics, they say they're a logistics platform providing seamless end-to-end supply chain solution for goods and service using blockchain tech. And another ICO coming soon, Road Launch, logistics blockchain is coming, are you ready? We are building the very best in IoT asset management, smart load matching and digital freight. Now we are laying the foundation for blockchain applications in logistics. And yet another one, already had a pre-ICO apparently, IMLA, International Logistics Service on the blockchain. So there's no shortage of these. I found these with a very quick search. Obviously ShipChain I already knew about, but I found the rest of these with a very quick search for blockchain, cryptocurrency and logistics, and there's bound to be many more. If you know of any more, please post in the comment below. I'd like to have a look at them. So the competition is quite stiff in this space. So what are the problems they're trying to solve? Well, according to Blockarray, the biggest problem is the detention of payments. Now, apparently what happens when a truck driver arrives at the time they're supposed to, but the cargo's not ready to be loaded, they're entitled to a detention payout. Detention was ranked as one of the 5 leading business problems by 84% of the 257 carriers surveyed, including trucking companies and owner-operators. And that's according to Blockarray. So I never knew this was a problem. But obviously, if they have to wait around, then they should be compensated for it. Another issue is proof of logging. Often, if paperwork goes missing or it's incorrectly logged, then it could be a problem throughout the supply chain. Another issue facing this industry is the proof of arrival and departure. Much like proof of logging, if you don't have an immutable record, then you can't prove that the driver was there at the time or was anywhere at the time, in fact. So that's a big issue. The other problem is obviously the bill of lading, the documentation. Not all of it is able to be scanned. Not all of it is recorded all the time. So there's another issue there which the blockchain will solve. Now what they want to do is introduce a blockchain technology so that logistics companies can use it and benefit from it without having to build or employ their own staff and make their own blockchain ecosystem. So this will be software as a service, if you like, that they can give to other logistics companies that they can use to track their goods and their drivers. So doing a bit of digging and looking at the potential market for this technology, you come across a lot of websites and a lot of articles on the internet that are linking blockchain technology with freight and logistics. And in this article I found it mentions ShipChain, again we discussed that before, and also the BETA, the Blockchain in Trucking Alliance, which is apparently formed by experienced tech and transportation executives to create a forum for the development of blockchain standards and education for the freight industry. They have apparently 60 members with over 300 applications from companies around the world, and they've seen global giants such as SAP and UPS join in. Now, this is obviously going to be a multi-billion dollar marketplace. As I mentioned earlier, the blockchain is a technology that applies very well to the logistics industry by its very nature. So this article claims that in 2015, the logistics industry commanded roughly $8 trillion in annual revenues, and is expected to reach a volume of over 15.5 trillion by 2023. It says the world's international supply chain is becoming more and more dependent on technology for the enablement of free trade, a core component of democracy and freedom. And there's a little notation there that the FBI estimates there's over 30 billion in cargo theft per year, which can obviously be reduced by introducing blockchain technology. So as we can see, the market is massive. So the blockchain will basically hold the ecosystem and smart contracts for this service, from certifying daily logs to providing or to proving detention payouts, which is the main problem we discussed. This is what they're going to do. They've got this thing called chain proof, which is their integrated stack to enable logistics companies to leverage the technology without deploying their own, as we said. They will have an ELD or electronic logging device, which is the system trucking companies are required to use to maintain their records for hours of service in the US. And this should solve the problem of detention payouts. And also they will have certified logs anchored to the blockchain. So whenever they certify the day logs for a 24-hour period, if it's a driver or a haulage company, the system will take that information along with additional metadata and anchor it to the Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchain, and then that will take the stress off the driver or the company, so they don't need to recertify or do anything else. The blockchain, the system will automatically link the created records and keep it as the primary record for that particular day. So to handle proof of arrival and departure, the geofencing based automatic trigger, basically logistics firms can use the mobile app or the back end to provide chain proofs, which will be an immutable record stored on the blockchain that contains the time, location, driver information, order number, and more information. And this provides a record that the driver was there at the time that they were supposed to be, took possession of the goods for the shipment, and can certify the daily logs for the requirement to submit the ELD device. The visual smart contracts, you will be able to integrate the bill of lading documentation. So their mobile app will support the GS1 barcode specification. They say that when an authorized user for the barcode scans it with the mobile app, it will trigger an event process that will record the exchange of goods from supplier to outbound freight. You can now have an additional layer to our proof of logging for detention payout disputes. Again, going back to the main problem that we discussed, all of this is to prove exactly everything was where it is, when they said it was, and so that the detention proofs or the detention payouts are paid out as soon as possible. So looking at the technology quickly, the protocol access token, which is the ARY token, will be required to access and anchor the data. You will require one token to use the system. So you will need one ARY to use one truck, and the barcodes that are supported are listed here. I don't know much about barcode technology. The white paper goes into this in much more detail. If you are technically minded or involved in the logistics industry or the trucking or haulage industry or anything similar, you may want to go and have a look at the white paper. You'll probably understand it a bit better than I did. I'm sort of waffling through this review, to be honest. I can see and understand the benefits of this technology to an extent, but having not worked in the logistics industry, I'm struggling with some of the requirements. Of course, these people they know better than I. So they say they can prevent grey market diversion. So they can enable monitoring, management, and prevention of illicit supply chain and grey market activity. They can prevent stealing within the supply chain and the fraudulent sale of counterfeit goods. They can ensure proof of viewing from custom fees and taxes to trade restrictions, licenses and commodity information. The system provides all the checks for all the necessary information, and it also provides a way to access all of this as well through just a barcode scan. This will all be on the blockchain. You scan it with the app and then you can see it. And they've got what this is called the EPCIS standard at terminals, will enhance the efficiency of the logistics operations involved in arriving, receiving, inspecting and outbound staging of goods. They will also have a virtualized market for unused shipping capacity. So for example, you've got space in a container, you'll be able to use their market to sell it on through a peer-to-peer system. So all very interesting. They will also be selling GS1 barcodes. Now, if I'm not mistaken, a GS1 barcode is a barcode with the manufacturer's name somewhere in it, I think at the start, and they can basically you have to purchase these, but their prices, they say, are 50% cheaper than where you can buy through anybody else. So that's an interesting thing. And then we have here the statistics on the counterfeit goods, which they say they're going to prevent. As you can see, we're talking about billions and billions of dollars, all mostly coming from China, mostly clothing, and 7% of global trade, quite a fascinating high figure there. is actually counterfeit goods. And some of the other interesting tech that is going to be implemented along with what we've discussed is obviously the counterfeit protection. So companies can deploy pages that make sure they're only using authorized resellers and people that are authorized to sell their products to certain customers in the area. They will have provenance availability. So, for example, restaurants can link their menus to a page that displays, and they can disclose how much information they want, where the food comes from, if they so desire. Document records, they can link industrial machines to maintenance history, firmware version, product issues, etc. And they will have dual layer QR codes, so you can use your Ethereum wallet with ARY tokens. You can create an authenticated QR code that is compatible with the app to identify authentic and counterfeit goods. So a lot of technology behind this. So they have a demo, and the photos are just for show, but they have a lot of go for the ICO behind them. They do apologize for the poor presentation and lack of polish, but I don't think that's an issue. The technology is certainly there. They have pictures of the enterprise app, which the user, the company can use, the driver can use, and he's going to go in and he'll have his permissions to do what he needs to do. And then on the right hand side there's the consumer app, the Badger application I think it was called, where you can scan the item. In this case it's a nice little Trezor wallet there, and you can find all about it. So those are in beta testing at the moment, which is nice. And they have some other pictures of what they've done. A web page result for the test strip mock-up there. Visual smart contracts revision. And also, this was of interest, the Hyperlogic fabric system demo for the Blockchain and Trucking Association that we mentioned before. And if you click on it, it takes you through to the software, and you can see that they've actually got all the logs there on the overview. So very interesting, and the technology is sound. As I say, the white paper probably a little bit over my head, but please do read it before you make any investment decisions. It is very technically minded, so if you're in the shipping industry or logistics industry, you will find it of interest for sure. The Badger app looks like a very interesting piece of tech. They say from normal barcodes to QR codes, it gives the customer an ability to find information about the product. As we said, you scan it and it tells you all about it, which is essential. And this is some of the tech that's behind it. It's translation ready, so naively, I would think that it should be natively. Supports RTL support for languages like Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, and Urdu. They have notary support for third-party organizations that certify the products. Permission-based views. Again, you don't have to allow the customer to see everything. Platform agnostic, so they can integrate from different formats, etc. Global DNS backbone to ensure redundancy and speed. And then they've got an analytic platform as well, which you can look at your customers' habits. And it's a very, very nice little website there. You can see that Badger is an ad-free mobile app that connects barcodes to specific URLs. So aside from the tracking and the potential for the logistics companies to benefit from this, the customer will as well. And I think the Badger app will give them another angle on their business as well. So it's important to see that. The Badger app will provide product information after you scan the barcode to a URL or a website, and you'll get stuff like authorized distributors, warranty info, etc., etc. And there's the list of the stuff that it does there. And they basically are talking about accessibility here, which is interesting. This is the first time I've seen this. Normally I'm prepared, but I'm in a bit of a rush doing this review actually. They say they're going to make it accessible to visually impaired users, motor impaired users, people with Parkinson's, muscular dystrophy, etc., cognitive, auditory, etc. So that's a very, very worthwhile thing to do, I would say. So that's just a quick look at the Badger app. Let's have a look at the demo now. So how it works, here's just a brief talk through of how it's going to work. So your truck driver will scan the bill of lading. It then validates that the information is correct. So the truck driver will look at the app and say, yep, that looks like what it's meant to be. Then the driver leaves the shipper's area. A geofence trigger will activate and submits the data to the network. And that will obviously recognize that he's on his way. The driver then has a record of how long they were there and the associated metadata from the ELD device to double validate the process. The record is immutable, public and trustless. Obviously it's on the blockchain. And as they say, blockchain perfectly fits the needs of dispute resolution for shippers and truckers. As we discussed many times before, this is the beauty of the blockchain, that it makes everything trustless because it can be relied upon for correct information. There's no human error going to creep in here, and there's no malicious intent as well behind it. So they go on to explain how the barcode works there. I'm sure you might be interested in that, and why you'd need a compliant barcode and how the app actually works as well. They then explain how to anchor barcodes to the Ethereum blockchain. We won't discuss that here. It's all in the white paper as well, as I said before, very, very technical. And then tying it all together, how it's going to work. Well, through the online site, you will log in, and then all the barcodes you have will be online, and the barcodes are stored in the blockchain through a data hash, and it's then submitted to the smart contract, and barcodes that are associated with the public key are linked to those transactions, creating a chain of custody that can be viewed online. So it'll all be there. They're also going to use the chain of custody to fight counterfeit goods and diversion for high value shipments. So as you can see there, the supplier will establish the permissions and provide, it will also provide document management, etc. And then when the permissions are set, the truck driver can scan the barcode, and they create an anchoring event that creates a record. And like we said, it includes the metadata, GPS coordinates, etc. And then the distributor, the retailer, once they accept the goods, that triggers an event as well that's anchored to the Bitcoin Ethereum blockchain, and the protocol displays all the relevant proofs in an easy to understand way for the consumers. So it's all there, a good solution to a real world problem. So the tokens are going to be used on the consumer, enterprise and logistics mobile apps and in the ecosystem of the blockchain. They are going to be used as follows. They will be used to anchor new GS1 barcodes to the Ethereum blockchain. So you will be able to use the tokens to purchase the barcodes cheaper than you would from normal retailers, about 50% of the cost, I believe. They were also going to be used to validate the software licensing for commercial use. They will also be used for virtualizing Graypool for truck drivers. And if you recall, Graypool is the space in the container or space on the truck that isn't utilized. And they will also be used to provide a toll or a fee for access to outputs of platform-specific protocols. So on to the crowd sale. They have a hard cap of $7.7 million US and a soft cap of $3.5 million US. So they need to be between that to achieve their fundraising for their goals and to continue on with the project. That works out about 11,500 Ethereum or Ether, and they've fixed one Ether at $700 US. But as you know, currently Ether this morning is about $900. So that's not so good. They have a spreadsheet we'll look at in a moment. 60% of the tokens are available for the general crowd sale, and 40% are held by the company. 5% of those will go to the founding team. So how will they use the proceeds from the crowd sale? Well, 60% will be spent on development, 25% will be spent on marketing, 15% will be spent on operating expenses, and there will be a vesting period. There'll be a 9-month vesting cliff with a 4-year vesting period and right of refusal for all employee tokens. The whitelist is currently open. The crowd sale, I believe, starts on the 4th or 5th of January, and tokens will be unlocked shortly after the 14th of January once the crowd sale is over. So they're based in the USA, they say, and whatever milestones they didn't reach in the pre-sale will be available for the regular crowd sale. So tokens are only generated with the contributions, so there's no need for burns. And they also say they don't have any advisors, so they don't need to give them a bonus. Advisors give them feedback, and experience is always better than advice, so they don't need to have a team of people they're going to pay for that. So that's interesting. So let's look at the token spreadsheet here. So as we can see, the token sale is outlined as follows. There will be 63,150,000 ARY tokens up for grabs during the 4 sections of the sale. Section 1 is a pre-sale, which was 90% sold out, I believe. There was 6,300,000 tokens for sale, and the price was about 10 cents per token. As you can see, for 1 Ethereum, the price was the amount was 6,385, sorry. And we're currently, I believe, in stage 2. So you need to get whitelisted if you're going to go into stage 2. Stage 3 and 4, you don't need whitelisting. They kick off in a few days, so you can wait, but you'll get a little bit more bonus at the moment if you do sign up and you do manage to get whitelisted. You will get 5,676 tokens for 1 Ethereum, and there are 28,300,000 tokens available in this period. It will move on to stage 3, where there will be 26 million tokens available. You will get slightly less per your Ethereum, and then on to stage 4, you will receive no bonus whatsoever, and there'll only be 2.3 million tokens available. So the minimum contribution for each tier is tier 1 is 100 Ethereum, tier 2 and 3 1 Ether, and tier 4 no minimum amount. As we mentioned, the hard cap is 11,500 Ether. And this is basically a highlight of the supply. There will be a hard cap of 11,500 Ether, or 7.7 million US dollars. It's slightly more now. It's closer to 10 million US dollars, to be honest. The total supply will be 63 million, just over 63 million. The maximum supply will be 88 million, and non-circulating out of that will be 25. So essentially 63 million if they sell out, if they meet their hard cap, which it doesn't look like they're going to do at this stage. That will go on to the exchange, and if let me just calculate the token price. So if we look at Ethereum at 870, I think it was just when I checked it a few minutes ago. So at stage 2, 870 divided by 5676 equals about 15 cents per token you'll be paying. So pre-sale is about 10 cents, stage 2 15 cents, and then of course it will increase through stage 3 and 4. That will work out at roughly a market cap of just under $10 million, I believe. So that's quite low. So plenty of room for growth in here. And I don't think they're going to make the hard cap, actually. I doubt that very much from what they've sold already. If we look at the token sale page here, you can see what they've actually achieved. Where is it? There it is there. So they sold out 90% in tier 1. 52% has been sold in tier 2, and tier 3 and 4 has not started yet. So I don't think they'll make the hard cap. So I would imagine that the market cap, when it goes onto the exchanges, will be significantly lower than $10 million, possibly around the $4 or $5 million area. But we'll need to wait and see, of course. So yeah, I'm confident this one can give a little bit of growth. And here's the where you'll calculate your tier bonus. Well, we're currently in tier 2, so say for example we have to spend 1 Ether minimum. That gives us a total of 5,676 tokens with 4,731 you will get immediately, and then you will get a total of 5,676 a couple of days later once they forward all the bonuses onto everybody. So let's just see if we contribute 1 Ether, which is the minimum for this stage. That's how much it works out at, and it gives you a total of 0.063 Bitcoin, or $844, which is the current price of 1 Ethereum. So as to the bounty campaign for this project, I don't believe there is one. I might be mistaken, so if I am, please let me know in the comments below. It's always good to be corrected. And I think this is just spreading through word of mouth and a reasonable community support. So tokens are unlocked on January the 14th, and bonus tokens will be forwarded on the 16th. So it's quite a quick turnaround after the ICO is complete. The roadmap is a simplified version is here. They will release the enterprise mobile app in beta form in January this month. The ELD trucking mobile application, which if you recall is a requirement for the US regulators, that will start in February 2018 in beta. And then in March, there will be additional integrations into the enterprise mobile app, and they will introduce the GS1 barcodes onto the Ethereum blockchain in February 2018. Looking at the team now, the team consists of 3 core members who all have programming experience, and 1 freelancer that they've brought in to assist them with some other duties. The co-founder, Sam Baca, is a BS in Economics and Masters in Business Administration, and Sam has worked at Amazon and AT&T over the last 6 years. Sam and Mika, who's also the co-founder, have been friends for over 14 years. He's familiar with Go, Java, Python, Oracle, etc., etc. Again, a lot of experience in programming. Mika's no different. He's got over 15 years of software development experience, and he knows how to design and execute complicated systems with the infrastructure required. And then Yuri Senyut is the systems administrator and the DevOps, and he's worked on a variety of closed source applications for distributed computing for large corporations. Joe, who is the mobile developer, has been brought in to do the mobile development, obviously, and he's worked with mobile applications across the world. So there's only 4 of them. It's a very tight team. There aren't any advisors. And it's a note at the bottom here. It says, we always speak to industry experts and have been involved with the Blockchain and Trucking Alliance, BETA. And BETA is also based in the same city as they are, Chattanooga, Tennessee. So very interesting little annotation there. They're always speaking with truckers. You know, I before even reading that, I got the impression that this was the case, but to actually see that in print is very interesting. I think I mentioned earlier in the video about the Blockchain and Trucking Alliance when we were talking about marketing in the market section, and it's very important that they have some sort of alliance or some sort of affiliation or association with BETA, as BETA will probably be the group that's backed by all the major companies that will drive blockchain and logistics forward. So they're based in, the fact that they're based in the city as well is a very, very good sign. As far as I know, they don't have any partners. As we discussed, they are associated with the Blockchain and Trucking Alliance, or BETA. So they will have connections within the trucking community, and being based in Chattanooga and Tennessee, they will have contacts there. So they don't have many partners as such, but I'm sure that being a software as a service company platform, they will be used by several logistics companies when they get going. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. Do they need a larger partnership? I'm not sure at this stage. It may well be the case that they get taken over or invested in heavily at a later stage once they get up and running properly. So community support doesn't appear to be a priority for these guys, and that's fine. They're more focused on the technology rather than all the fluff that surrounds it. And they are on YouTube. They are also on Twitter, Telegram, and GitHub. So nobody really commenting on GitHub. Not much activity there. They do have a lot of repositories though. They have 2,900 members on Telegram, which is good. It's nice to see that there's some activity going on. In fact, I have not joined there, so I will do so now. There we are. I've joined the group. So I always like to be part of the Telegram groups of the ICOs that I review, not only to get more information, but also in case I'm going to invest in them. I like to know what's going on and get the latest news. I suggest you do too if you don't already. You can download the mobile app. I've also got the web app going here, nice and easy to use. And they've got about 666 number of the beast followers on Twitter. Not as many as I would like, but there's fair support on the Telegram group, which is a good sign. And again, they're not focusing on the community. They are tech focused. If you look at the white paper, you look at their business model, they're more focused on actually getting the technology working and applying it to the industry that they're involved in, which is mainly trucking, rather than the fluff that surrounds a lot of ICOs and building up communities to raise massive amounts of money that is based on nothing but a white paper. So community not so important in this ICO, I would say, but still a consideration, especially if you're going to be an investor. You want to know that there's going to be some support going on there in the back. So verdict time. First off, the positives. Number one, it has to be the team is technically proficient. They have all worked in programming for a number of years. They know what they're trying to achieve, and it looks as if they can do it, no problem whatsoever. This is good because it means there's no, the team is not relying on other developers to build their own product. They're actively immersed in what they're building. They know the intricacies of what they need to do, so that's fantastic. Second positive, they focus on the tech rather than the show. This is a meat and potatoes ICO. You're not buying fluff. You're not buying a white paper or an idea that somebody will develop after you give them 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars. This is the tech is already there. There's something behind it already. And you know I like that. I always say probably the most important thing when I take into account an ICO is the working product. They've already got this, but they've got the tech behind it more importantly. They've thought everything through. It's all there for you to read in the white paper if you're technically minded. Again, it's focused on tech. The website's focused on tech. The white paper's focused on tech rather than the show. They're not trying to sell you snake oil here. They've actually got something that's in meat and potatoes, that's actually concrete. Number three, compounds just what I said. They have a working product. It's in beta at the moment. They have something that they can actually sell to other companies, which is the point of their whole operation. They don't want to run the things. They want to act as a service to those companies already running it. And they've already got a working product. Number four, there is a real world use case for this. These trucking companies, haulage companies, logistics companies, they're all looking into the blockchain to improve their businesses, improve efficiency, transparency. So this has a very real world use case. Again, they've already thought it through. They know what's required. They've been speaking to people in the trucking industry, so they understand the ins and outs, the intricacies of the business. They understand what's needed and when. Number five positive is they have a low hard cap. It was lower. Ethereum goes up, the hard cap goes up in turn, but it was around 7.7 million US dollars when they set off on this venture, and that's what they wanted to raise. So that's fairly low in the big scheme of things. If you look at other logistics ICOs like ShipChain, for example, they're looking to raise a lot more than that, and they don't even have any tech yet. They say they're working on a prototype. That's fine. We'll see that. These guys have actually got the meat and potatoes, and it's a low hard cap. They might not even reach that. So as long as they meet their soft cap of $3.5 million, then they will go ahead and implement their business plan, and it benefits you as an investor if they don't actually reach the hard cap, because there'll be less tokens. So if you buy into this ICO, the lower the amount that they raise, the better for you. Number 6, another definite positive here, is the tokens will only be minted when the contributions are received. So as I just mentioned there, if they don't reach the hard cap, then they'll only be, they'll be less than the 63.7 million tokens minted. They don't have to do a token burn, so they don't, that's not a consideration. So they will only mint them once they receive contributions. So say, for example, they only raise $5 million, then only $5 million worth of tokens will be minted. Again, that's a positive from an investment standpoint. Number 7, there is a low circulating supply. The circulatory supply will be a maximum of 63.7 million tokens, and that's fairly low. As I said, they probably won't reach the hard cap, so we might not get anywhere near that. We're looking more realistically at a circulating supply of around 40 million. Number 8 positive, again, I pointed it out in the team section, I believe, of this review. They're based in the haulage capital of Chattanooga, Tennessee. They have ties to Beta, which is the blockchain in Trucking Alliance, I think. And that's very important, that they're already rubbing shoulders with these guys. They're based in the city. That, to me, indicates that this could be a big success. Number 9, they have more than one route to market here. Now, they've got the software as a service, which will be adopted by logistics companies and everything else, but they also have the technology here. They could sell to other people. They could utilize their app. They could, the app might get adopted by other companies. They've got so many routes to market over and above what they set out to establish. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, is the old adage, and this ICO definitely applies. Number 10, to compound what I just said, they are a service rather than a standalone business. So if they get the technology right, which it appears they have done, they can sell that to several other companies. They don't need to rely on themselves being a standalone business and implementing the technology like other ICOs do. They are a service. They have already built the tech. They can then go on and sell it to other companies, which gives them a greater scope for success. As ever, there are a few negatives, and this ICO is no exception. Number 1 negative is, of course, low hype and community support. Now, yes, I've mentioned already, they are tech focused. They don't really give us stuff about how many people are following them on Telegram. But as an investor, you've got to be aware of this. You've got to be aware that low hype and low community support will mean there might not be much traction when it hits the exchanges. Number 2 for me was that they're not active enough on social media. Post a few times a day as part of your company. Let people know what's going on. It will drive your business further forward, not only from an investor standpoint, but also from a potential customer base standpoint as well. Number 3, negative, is success will largely depend on their customer base. If they can't get customers, if they don't do their marketing correctly, if they don't get out there and get in the faces of the companies that would benefit from using this technology, then they're going to fall flat on their face. Number 4 negative is that there is stiff competition in the logistics and freight industry. As we saw from the competition section, ShipChain are into this, and they're more hype than product at the moment. But there's other companies as well that you might not have heard of, and lots of ICOs coming in this space because it's a space that really needs the blockchain to improve their businesses. And number 5, the white paper and website is maybe too technical for most investors to understand. Now, I had a hard time going through it. I don't know much about haulage, trucking, logistics, etc. So this was quite a difficult review to do for me, and I think maybe a more investor-friendly white paper would be conducive to raising more funds. However, they have stated several times that they are more concentrated on the tech. They're not really bothered about the investor or the investor standpoint. So, you know, I can forgive them for that. They're sticking to their guns, and that's fair enough. So verdict time. Well, this one's a grower. It's not a shower. They don't really show. They're not showing anything, but they have actually built the platform, and they're moving into beta testing in January this month. So this is a grower, definitely. If they manage to get adopted by a few of the major haulage firms, which I can see happening, then it'll certainly be a worthwhile ICO. But I believe this isn't one for flipping. This is one for maybe holding on for the longer term and backing the tech and backing the actual business model behind it. So I'm going to give this ICO 3 stars out of 5. The reason it lost 2 stars, one is for social media support, as you could probably imagine, and community. And the other star because this is a bit of a risk, this ICO. It's not, nothing's guaranteed in this life. It is a bit of a risk, so you've got to be aware of that. But overall, I'm quite bullish on this. I am. I'm going to invest in this ICO. I think this ICO has good potential for the future. The tech is there. Again, I say it, meat and potatoes here, not just a white paper. This has got some real technology and programmers behind it, and that's why I'm going to back it. Yep, it lacks the polish and the the razzle dazzle of other ICOs that I've reviewed recently, but that doesn't matter really. What we're looking at here is, does it actually do something? Yes. And are the team technically proficient? Yes. It's already been built, so yeah, overall I'm very bullish. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, please subscribe, and as ever, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. If you're going to invest in anything, please do your own due diligence, do your own research, and invest wisely, invest cautiously, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. Thanks for joining me again. I will be back. My next ICO review will be tomorrow, and it's on WePower. So please join me for that. Bye for now.